we got some news that went down today that we got to talk about. Stuff that happened, and a lot of stuff kind of took over Twitter. If you're on there, X, if you're a youth. Stephanie Vaquer, she signed a contract with WWE. Jimmy, this one, it started off as kind of mysterious. She was pulling out of her other commitments to New Japan and CMLL, suddenly dropping titles. We didn't know what was going on. We knew she'd been having talks. Then the news dropped. I found out because Shawn Michaels told me, not personally, he tweeted it or he X'd it, but Shawn Michaels told me directly that she had signed and she will be in Orlando in NXT. This is a big signing. This was huge. Obviously, fans of AEW saw her at Forbidden Door, and I think that this was great.
I absolutely think it is great because, like you said, everybody saw her at Forbidden Door, and those not familiar with her became familiar with her very quickly because she was a standout at that pay-per-view, and she showed that she has the goods. Now, under that umbrella that she's going to be under, and the NXT umbrella, training under Shawn Michaels and all the coaches down there, I think this is going to be really, really groundbreaking for the women's division. She's going to shock a lot of people that are WWE fans that are not familiar with her. You're going to wait till you see. That's all I can say. Wait till you see what this is. And this NXT brand overall is becoming something really special, especially with the open door that they've got going on with TNA. A lot of good things going on, and I'm expecting big things from Stephanie.
Yeah, George, I want to take an AEW sided approach to this, and I just want to talk about. I want to give some flowers here, and I think AEW, when they started, I think one of the great things about this is that they provided so many more opportunities for wrestlers, and they still do, and they have. And this is a perfect example of that. I think you look at. This is an opportunity. She was seen by a lot of Americans here on Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door is a show that sometimes we give a lot of flack to because of what it is, but this gave her a platform in America that let her stand out. And I personally just fail to believe that it's a coincidence that right after that show, WWE suddenly said, we're going to offer you get out of your contract money to come join us right this minute. I think this was great and I think the end result is great for everyone. I think it's great for her. She signed with the biggest wrestling company in the world. I think it's great for WWE because now they have an incredible talent. I think it's great for the fans because now they get to see her if you weren't familiar with her before. And as far as AEW goes, I don't think it's a loss because they never had her. So I know some people say this is a loss to AEW. It'd be great if they got her, but I don't think it's a loss because they never had her. I think this is just a win in every direction, George.
And then, I want to add on to everything that you just said, because it's a win-win for everybody, because now it's going to kind of come across as like who does AEW have that might be the next big signing, even if they're not in there for a long time. We saw the same thing with Nathan Frazier. He had maybe 1 or 2 matches in AEW, and then like a week later, he signs with WWE after having such a strong showing, just in like 1 or 2 matches in AEW. No different for Stephanie Vaquer. For the record, I called us like about a couple weeks ago. But my main thing is, I mean, you're absolutely right. It is coincidental how all of a sudden she's getting all this attention. Right after the Forbidden Door. But I was very impressed, and I mentioned it here, by that very first vignette that we saw on AEW TV, and it serves the same today, and it made me want even more. Like, they announced her, and then all of a sudden, like I said, everything that we wanted to see in AEW, the video packages, not just randomly like, oh, by the way, next week on Rampage we're going to see so and so defend the belt against Stephanie Vaquer, who was a CMLL champion. Like, that's what we didn't want. We got what we want, and now she came across as a bigger star. The thing that's shocking to me the most, because I've been saying it, that it wouldn't surprise me if she's WWE by the end of the year. I'm surprised that it happened now. Like, literally, like, she was just on AEW. Was it like the semi-main event or the semi-main event on Forbidden Door, which, in my opinion, is kind of a big deal. But yeah, it's surprised so soon. And there's rumors out there on Twitter that I won't get into because I know nothing about it. So yeah, there is a little bit of that. We were kind of it was kind of mentioned to us in the little group chat that we're in before the show that, like, maybe the story is why so soon. But either way, it's a great get. It's a fantastic get. Not only is she a great talent, she's kind of got that South American representation that WWE hasn't really had really ever. We've seen a great Mexican presence, a great Puerto Rican presence, a great Cuban presence. We don't really had anybody south of the border. Nobody from Colombia, nobody from Argentina, nobody from Peru. That would have been me. But being from Chile, and also not just is she from Chile, but she's got a great, history with CMLL. I just realized about an hour ago that isn't WWE in Mexico this weekend? I think they got live shows in Monterrey, Mexico, this weekend, and I can only assume that that's maybe where they're gonna formally introduce her to the WWE universe.
Yeah, Beer Money in the chat. That's an interesting point, maybe. But Beer Money says if she didn't do Forbidden Door, I'm guessing WWE never would have wanted her. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I think that they were probably scouting her. But I think what I love about AEW and there being two options is I think seeing her on that stage against Mercedes Moné said, "Hey, this is a very sought after free agent. You better move it or lose it."
Yeah.
And I'm sure her offer was a lot better than it would have been had there been no other person in no other company in America. And Jimmy, that's where I think this was so helpful, being that there was that platform there.
It absolutely was. And, people who think that they're not paying attention to what's going on with the other guys, yes, they're focusing on their own brand, but yes, they are keeping an eye on what's going on. And I'm sure she was on their radar, but they got an opportunity to see her live and in living color at the pay-per-view. And somebody must have said to someone important, hey, we got to snag this girl right now because she's got it and she needs to be here right now. And before it's too late, let's sign her. So they went ahead and did it. That's my belief. I don't know. I don't have the
well, I mean, I said a couple weeks ago, it wouldn't surprise me if she's WWE by the end of the year. If I'm saying that, you're better sure that there's people out in Orlando and Stamford saying that as well. But I think if anything, they probably wanted her then and there. They're not going to snatch her as like before Forbidden Door. But at the same time, she did have a match scheduled up this weekend that she had to withdraw from. But with that said, I do want to end. I mean, you feel free to end it at any point, but I do want my last thing that I want to say about this is once Julia and Stephanie Vaquer show up in NXT, I honestly think that once they show up and start wreaking havoc, that's going to be not just the best women's division of all of pro wrestling, but I flat out think that's probably going to be the best women's division that pro wrestling has ever had.
Wow.
It very well could be. NXT has always been so.
It's great now. It's like
it's
the best. Yeah. It's the best division, women's division right now. Enter those two ladies. Jesus Christ, bro!
Sign me up.
I don't want to spill too many beans for the NXT after show. I want to save that for next week for them. But Flobo Boyce in the chat, long time kind of sick fan of the show, says Monet, the Star Maker. I do want to give Mercedes her flowers. I'm going to do this a little bit more later on, of course, as well. We talked about her segment, but I also think seeing her in a match, Stephanie in this case, in a match against somebody, as Flobo mentions in another comment as well. I can't see where it is right now, though. Against someone who main evented WrestleMania and stood toe-to-toe with her and looked good. This wasn't just her having a match with some local talent in a dark match. This was a big stage against a big opponent, and she came out looking like a star. Again, I think you got to give credit to Mercedes for being someone that can help elevate in that case. Now, I don't know if that was Mercedes' intention in this case, but guess what? It happened. So I think you got to give credit to a lot of people here. The story is going to be for NXT and the NXT after show when they talk about all of it. But since this is the AEW show, I'm trying to approach it from the AEW side. And
I do want to add on to one more thing to what you said, because the same thing happened for Willow. Willow was kind of, I mean, we all love Willow, but it wasn't until she faced Mercedes last week in that last year in that tournament where after that Willow's star really started to rise after again facing Mercedes in that match. Look what happened to Kyrie. Kyrie after a match with Mercedes got snatched up by WWE.
Yep. So again, for all the people, because you do see it a lot, the tribalism of I hope this company burns, I hope this company goes down. It's great having these two companies for so many reasons, and this is one of them. I truly believe, because this is another person, fans, and everybody involved. It's good. It's a win all around.
Yeah, I have the matches. No, I'm kidding.
No.
No, I'm kidding. Please, yeah. Oh, they're gonna come at me now.
Yeah.
They come at me anyway. So what's the difference? Who cares?
Yeah, you're not gonna shake them, Jimmy.